Andrew, good to have you. I'm looking at some of your fares. They're pretty low from just an overall dollar perspective. What is a move up that we've seen in fuel prices due to your ability to keep those fares where they are?
Well, thanks for having me, David. Well, clearly it doesn't enable us to keep the fares where they are. We're going to have to do everything we can to pass that on to the consumer. And we're in the process of doing that. And, historically, the airlines, and I think we'll be no exception, will be able to pass on much of it. Of course, fuel moves faster than revenue. But I'm optimistic that we'll be able to pass on most of it in a reasonable amount of time. We have to cut some capacity here and there, but that's what you have to do when you see this type of move in fuel. It reminds me a lot of 2008, what we saw then.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So give me a sense when you say pass it on in a reasonable amount of time. What is your sense as to how long and how much it might affect demand?
Oh, I think, today, our travel today, people that are flying us today, they booked their travel on average, call it 30 to 45 days ago. So, clearly as every day goes on, we're trying to take fare up and over time, I think we'll be able to pass it through, or we will see a reduction in demand for travel. And I mean, it's going to be one or the other. There's a ceiling at which people will be able to swallow this type of increase in fuel expense, and that's across the economy. And so, we'll reach some sort of an equilibrium within, the matter of weeks or months, and we'll be able to either pass it through altogether, or I think we'll start to see a real decline in demand. And I think if we see that, it won't just be in travel. It'll be across the board, and that tends to kind of help fuel prices move a little bit downward, although I realize this is all geopolitical that's driving this right now.
Yeah, although the share of wallet that goes to gasoline is nowhere near where it was when oil was a real concern in the past. Got a ton of excess saving, a lot of pent-up demand, and people might be looking for domestic destinations over international. I wonder if you think that's going to make that process a little more easy to swallow.
Yeah, I think it will. Look, this is a terrific economy. I mean, obviously there's some issues, but in general, this is a very strong economy, and that's why I'm optimistic that we will be able to pass it through. Look, we've seen a violent increase in fuel in the last few weeks, so it takes time to adjust. And but I believe we will be able to do that for the reasons you just noted. There's a lot of interest in travel. I think you're right that people are going to be more likely to stay closer to home. That works very well for our business. We're a domestic, low fare, low cost operator. And so if people decide they want to stay within the United States, that certainly plays in our favor. And I think that's what we'll see.
We did see some examples really during the depths of COVID where some carriers were looking to steal some share, maybe going to some locations or airports that they hadn't been historically strong. I'm thinking like a Southwest and O'Hare. Is that done? Can you afford to be that aggressive with jet fuel doing what it's doing?
I think that's done for now. And we'll see how long this lasts. I mean, the good news for the industry as a whole, and certainly it's good for us, is that right now we're in a peak season, at least for our network, flying. We're in New Haven with a big presence, flying down to Florida. It's a good time of year to be doing flights like that. Out in California, same thing. March and April are going to be really strong months. The summer is a good period. So we'll see. But look, I think that it is going to impose a certain amount of discipline that is going to make those types of ventures maybe a little more costly. And I think all of us are going to try to de-risk the business wherever we can. We're in a different position than most. We're in growth mode. We're very small, but we're growing and we're executing our strategy. And so we have a very focused approach as to what we're doing. But I do think you'll see a little less risk taking out there because we're all trying to figure out how we can pass this very dramatic rise in energy prices, which is above, it's in addition to, of course, all the other inflationary pressures that we're all seeing in terms of labor costs, airport costs, things of that nature. It's not just energy, but obviously energy has moved a lot, and it is a very, very large part of our expense base.